to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Alright, how's everyone doing? Welcome back. It's a brand new week. I wasn't here yesterday. I was driving back. Honestly, I could have streamed yesterday and this camera is all messed up again, man. God damn it. That should be a little bit better. Nope. Is it really here? Am I supposed to be sitting here to be centered? Anyways, we'll play with this later on, not the right time. How's everyone doing? Was driving back with my family yesterday from Virginia. Boy, oh boy, is it humid in Virginia. It is a death sentence when I was there, but apparently it's only those few days I was there. Thank you, Mother Nature. Just had to align up that way. But good time, spent some time with the family. Came back home yesterday. Could have streamed yesterday because I did get home around 5-6 p.m. But I said no, I'm too exhausted. I'm gonna take the day off. Here we are back again to regular schedule, talking about markets, talking about my trades on the day, looking at what to trade tomorrow and how can we make that dollar cheese, baby. So looking for all the opportunities tomorrow. FOMC, that's something to mention right off the bat. FOMC tomorrow, interest rate decisions coming into play. Most likely not getting an interest rate cut. The FOMC tool already predicts in 92 percentile probability that we're not gonna get a rate cut, but let's see, maybe we'll get a surprise rate cut as Trump keeps bullying Powell into go to the upside. That's basically today's thumbnail from the day that Trump visited Powell at the Fed construction building renovations or whatever. So we'll see if the FOMC committee actually manages to cut the rates. At the moment, we're not expecting any rate cuts. Tomorrow we have a nice basket of stocks reporting earnings too. You have Meta in the after hours. Trying to remember if what's the other big tech that's reporting tomorrow after hours. I can't remember right off the bat, but we'll show you guys the board later on. And so big names on the earnings side to watch for. We got FOMC, all kinds of fireworks to prepare for tomorrow, so can't wait. Kind of sad to see that the day before FOMC market really had an ugly day today. little bit of a pullback day today. Maybe ugly is the wrong word to use. A nice pullback day on the market, a healthy pullback maybe on the market, and we'll see where FOMC takes it. So let's dive into the full screen and see where we go. Today we'll start off with, I guess usually we always start off with my trades on the day, so let's do that. I had a pretty much a break-even trade day today until a certain trade, which I'm not really allowed to talk about, came into play, and it was like an office setup. Everyone takes the setup, and that setup ended up basically hurting me on the day, taking my profits away. Well, I shouldn't really say profits, taking my break-even day into the red side, but because that's an office setup and a setup that usually makes me money 70% of the time, I'm not gonna be too upset that 30% of the time I lost on it. That's just the nature of the market. That's just the nature of the game. You can't win 100% of the time. If you do, I don't know, you're probably insider trading or some shit. But can't be upset about that one. Overall, what I can be upset about is my general overall trading, my actual trading on the day, which deserve no reason to be red or break even. Had I actually done a couple things differently, sized better on some of the opportunities, I would have had actually a very good day on board and managed to... Wait, where's my NVO trade? I didn't post my NVO trade. Did I even save my NVO trade? Don't think I posted my NVO, which should be the last trade after CYBR. Did I post CYBR? I did, and then I forgot to post NVO. Lol. So let me just quickly try to go here to NVO and try to bring that one up too, because this is also a very important picture. Copy image address. I gotta post it here, and then I gotta open this image. Wait, copy image, paste it here, and then open this goddamn image this way, open link, and then we have NVO open too. Okay, that's a pretty important trade for me too, because that another reason for me to make money. Forgot to post it. I can post about it later. So let's start off with the winners. Why should I have done much better today? Is because of the winners. Had I done proper sizing, instead of giving all the trades basically the same amount of risk on the day, AMD, I believe, deserved a little bit more risk in this area. There was another setup right here on AMD called the backside scalp setup, which happened right on the breakdown of $181. SMB Capital talks about that trade today in their meetings, but wasn't watching the stock at that moment. Noticed that the stock pulled back and set up for a nice fashionably late scalp trade right below VWAP. So took that trade, monster trade to start off the day for me, or I guess later on in the day for me. Look for a continuation trade as the stock is holding sideways around VWAP, creating lower lows, but at this creating lower highs, but also having the same low at the same time. Eventually, when the low breaks, I got short, looking for an extension into low a day, but no extension into low a day. Buyer stepped right back in and started defending that area, so quickly took my stop. Didn't think that I needed to give this stock all the way back up to VWAP, and just walked away from that trade. So AMD, one of my good trades, again sizing very, very poorly. SoFi, this I sized actually decently well off the open, but I chickened out of 50% of my trade as it looked a little weak around 2350. Once we break the opening, once we break the pre-market high, it looks like it's gonna start growing. Just going and just start running to the upside. But it pulls back a little bit, and then I get a little scared when it pulls back, because I'm a little oversized than what I usually am. Granted, it's SoFi, it's not gonna drop multiple dollars against me, so I didn't really need to be that quick and that scared. And there's also a lot of levels over here. I should have been okay with the watching the stock going back to $22. I technically wasn't okay with that, so hence I was a little scared when that pullback came. So I immediately cut my size by 50%. Then I get distracted by another symbol, and I missed this run right back up to 24, which I get annoyed about, because I was ready to try and punch a little bit more size over here on that back and forth. I cut size, but I usually take that size right back when it firms up and looks better again. But I missed on that opportunity, and the stock just teleported. It went from like 2350s, 2360s to 24, and then instantly to 25. So it just teleported. This is a 1 minute candle, and you can see how I had to chase above 24 here, which was another huge mistake from me. So because I chased on 24, I think I got filled at 24.16. I instantly started using that as a reason to start covering some profits just in case this extended move. It's a multiple ATR move. It's not going to go much higher. Quickly taking some profits, locking in, and then was able to lock in more profits around 25. Tried to catch the dip buy, got stopped out on that. Later on, got back in again on the next dip buy. Quickly noticed that the stock is basically now having sellers walk it down previously from 25 all the way to now 24.50. It's struggling around this area, so quickly use all of that to just dump my position. You know, I had a very jumpy trade. I wasn't really clean with my executions. I was very back and forth over here, so no reason to stick with this trade and try to make something out of nothing, because it could easily just go right back and die. Didn't want to get trapped in that type of situation. I could always get back in the trade, and which is what I do. I let the stock go back up, pull back, show me some support around VWAP. I guess the fact that we create another high over here, which is lower than the original high, and as you draw on the trend line, you would have not really been able to enter that trade much later. Maybe it breaks the trend line somewhere here, somewhere like that. So maybe you go long on the break of the trend line if you really care to go long, but then immediately stock is back below VWAP. It's struggling around VWAP, some sort of a head and shoulders here on the 1 minute chart, and the neckline break, you get that move right back into pre-market areas. And in the after hours, the stock actually dumps a little bit more, completely giving up its gains because of a stock offering. So far, just a good trade to start off the day with, but because of my back and forth, I actually give back a lot of money on this trade. So no reason to get this jumpy and lose money on this. Should have been much better on that trade overall. Microsoft, here's a name that's again annoying for me because I traded it so poorly. Opening range breakdown. This is the opening range low. You can see how the stock rallies to the upside first above 517, fails to stay above 517. Here's your little mini backside scalp if you care to trade that, but the distance to VWAP is not really, you know, as asymmetric as your stop or as high a day. So looking at that, I figured there's no trade here. But then after, the stock pushes into the opening range low, bounces, goes back into VWAP, and then immediately gets pushed back. So noticing that happening, I get short and I look for reasons to hold the trade, and then I just completely get distracted because of SoFi, because of AMD, and I trade this stock very poorly, and really had no reason to trade the stock so active and so aggressively. I just needed to be passive. This is Microsoft. The market's dying. This is Microsoft. It naturally has to follow what the market's doing most of the time. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time it's going to do what the market's doing. Hold on to your trade. Use your trailing methodologies, like your since it's not a fast trade, you know, you don't have to use a 5-minute trail or a 2-minute trail. Since it's a slower trade, it's an intraday swing trade, you can just trail it with your 9 EMAs. And honestly, even if I did trail it with 5 bar high or 5-minute bar high, I would have been trailed out right here at 513 instead of being completely out of the trade at 514, 514.50, 513.50 area. So would have been able to hold it all the way to 513, and then later on the stock actually gives you a wonderful opportunity to get short again from the VWAP continuation setup. As the markets continue to break its low, Microsoft actually travels back to VWAP, but naturally as VWAPs are naturally as markets selling off, Microsoft is going to head in that direction again, and you got that VWAP continuation setup right back to a new low a day, missing out on that opportunity. Nice entry, horrible exits. Boeing got sold off today on the earnings report. Initially made a pop in pre-market, but then started to sell off the open. I noticed that there was a trade somewhere here, but I wasn't watching Boeing at that point. I was too distracted with Microsoft and SoFi. But here's something I noticed where the stock is just struggling to get back above 232, 231 area. You had a nice little break a low a day, but the stock pushes right back into 232, struggles to get back above 232, pushes right back into low a day. Now it's not able to break low a day, pushes back up 231.50, 232 area, struggles again. So I guess short, risking this little high over here and looking for a move into low a day. That move pops right back up after bouncing the low a day again. So I figured, you know what? Why am I even bothering with trading in the no man's land, as Lance would call it? Just wait for the breakdown of this setup. If this breakdown happens, you will have at least some longs trapped in this area, and potentially we get the squeeze out of the longs getting stopped out of their trades. We get that extension to the downside. You kind of get that extension here. It pulls back. It's not able to get back above the previous consolidation low. The previous support turns into resistance now, so I take the next little consolidation over here, breakdown, to add to my size. But I noticed that the stock again pushes back into low a day. Now volume's dying down. We're going into lunch hour. Doesn't really look like it's got that juice, so I let it just go back up. Quickly take profits on this trade, let it go back up and see if there's a second chance scalp setup. It looks like there was a second chance scalp setup entry slightly, but immediately buyers step right back in, and I take my stop and walk away. I was profitable on this name, but I gave back all the money I made on this and basically ended break even on that. Boeing was a little painful. GTLS, buyout name. Stock got announced that it's getting bought out for $210 if I remember correctly. Maybe I read that wrong. I can't remember if it was 210 or not, but the idea was the stock is holding 199. Maybe it's got a room to a little bit closer to 210 at the very least. The premium is not that high. Usually when stocks are getting bought out, they're getting bought out for 15, 70, 100% of their previous day's close. This is only popping up 15%. The price is like 210. So I figured there was some sort of a long to play with, but didn't really get the move I wanted. However, there was a good short from VWAP if you were interested. SMCI, yesterday monster move on SMCI. Today, day 2, nice little long opportunity that I thought was worth taking an attempt, and sadly didn't work out. The stock broke the opening range high, pulled back, looked like it was gonna hold the opening range high, but given the market conditions, I think a trade that's easily avoidable maybe. Yeah, I lost a little bit of money. I'm not too upset about it, but it is what it is. CYBR, I didn't post CYBR chart either. Wow, I completely forgot to post 2 charts today. Anyway, CYBR was another stock that announced a buyout rumor midday. I'm not sure if it's a true rumor or not. CYBR, not sure if it's a true rumor or not. But stock got announced that it's getting bought out in the middle of the day by Pan W, and try to long somewhere here. If you draw like the trend line right that, try to long somewhere in this area. It didn't work out, got stopped out, and just walked away from it. That was the end of that trade. And last but not least, Novo Nordisk. Let's quickly go to Novo Nordisk. Stock announced earnings. I can't remember what the catalyst was. Was it earnings for NVO? I think it was earnings for NVO, right? Or was it another drug catalyst again? Yes, it was earnings, guidance being cut, and losing 93 billion in market value. Shares fell 30%. Yikes. So big move down. You had a nice capitulation long around the $50 area if you were interested in that in the pre-market. But later on, I was basically looking for a short from this 55 area because the stock was just struggling to really hold above 55. And if that was the case, I just needed to wait for the stock to firm up above 55 and use that as a reason to exit my trade or stick to my stop, which was 56. But because of how many times the stock just kept going back and forth around 55, I kind of got annoyed with it, and I just started closing the trade for for break evens or for losses, and overall lost the most on this name today. However, it would have played out picture perfect. It did flush to the downside and I would have gotten my short, but you know, that's not the way to think about it. I was wrong. I lost. Why? Because I traded it poorly. Execution was wrong. That's as simple as that. Give me a second. Ugh. My niece is home, so my dog's gonna start barking, so I just have to close the door real quick. Alright, so that's my trades on the day. We're gonna now head over to talking about the watch list for tomorrow, but before we do that, let me quickly say hi to my wonderful viewers in the stream or in the chat. We got TH, Dieter, Angry Buddha. TH, what are you complaining about today? Unusually good meme. Are you saying usually they're not good memes? Come on, that's kind of rude, man. I mean, today's meme is really good though, if you ask me. And you know what makes this good? How my leg? You know what makes this good? It's honestly my creative directory. The fact that I am so genius. That's what makes this good. All jokes aside, I think honestly what makes this good is the framing. The actual picture, if I can show you. Let's go here. Coming in first place, $125.55. The actual picture frame is this. See how much bigger the actual frame is? Usually I use the whole picture, but today I decided to crop it instead, to zoom in and kind of highlight Trump's face, Powell's face, and we all know what's going on when he's holding the paper and talking about it. So honestly, it's my creative directory here coming to life. Genius. An absolute genius. Yes, my love.
Peace out, guys. Thank you.
Okay, sorry again. I had to mute the mic over there. My niece was asking who's on the screen. I had to tell her it was Trump and Jerome Powell. She then said, "Are they your friends?" I wish they were my friends. Yeah, I'm not that rich or famous to know Trump or Powell. Do I wish they were my friends? I don't know. Anyways, yes, great meme, great picture, all because of my creative directory. I'm a genius. You can hire me to make your thumbnails at $100 a pop. Is that a cheap price? I don't know how much thumbnails go for these days. But when AI is doing all the work, I guess, you know, charging anything more than 100 feels illegal. Coming back to the chat. Where's the chat? Dieter, what's up? Angry Buddha, good to see you. Congratulations on your marriage. Newly wedded, Angry Buddha. Lovely pictures. Enjoyed seeing the pictures. Maybe next time throw a goddamn invite my way, sir, so I could come visit New York. No, I'm just playing. I love seeing the pictures. Hope you had a great time and happily ever after. The meme reminds me of Japanese anime. Yes, that's the idea behind it. It's a Studio Ghibli style, so Japanese anime Studio Ghibli. Set up for September. Also interested. We got no Fed meetings in August. Really, I didn't check when's the next Fed meeting, but I'll check that. New glasses, yes and no. They're kind of old now, but somewhat new, yes. No, my stocks fell in the morning and rode in the afternoon. Well, that's not bad. Good job. Good for you, TH. My portfolio is still green, so I'm not complaining by any means. You know, I'm still making money. Shout out to SMCI. That was a big move yesterday. I bought RBRK today on my personal account, so that's doing pretty decent, I hope. RBRK, did you pull back quite a bit? Oh, you didn't pull back at all. RBRK looking good. That's a good breakout over there on RBRK. SMCI, today was day 2, and that pullback on day 2 is honestly not concerning for me at all. This stock just broke out recently from a nice consolidation coil range, so I think it's got, more room upside as long as the market doesn't start shitting itself, and my positions are doing completely fine. Amazon had a little bit of a down day today. Maybe I can use that as a reason to cover some Amazon shares, but again, still above the 9-day EMA, 9-day moving average, simple moving average. Not worried about my positions, honestly. Not worried about my positions. Market did look a little worried to begin with, however. Still taking the short, and give me a second. This is hot in my room because the door is not open. Still taking the short, and setting a watch list was the right call. Let's go. Looking at BA, Nvidia, Tesla, NIO. NIO? Why NIO? I guess we'll pull up NIO for a quick second, see what's going on over there. Let me turn off the rubber band scalp setup. NIO basically had a little bit of a pullback, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be watching NIO for anything for the day trade side, but I'll let you know if a news comes out on that one. Surprised you don't have some smart type glasses, you being AI nerd. Hey man, that's rude. No, I'm joking. There is no good glasses like that just yet. Google originally tried, where is it? Google Lens. Google originally tried Google Lenses, not Google Lenses, Google Glasses. And they absolutely failed at this one. Was it called Google Lens? I'm pretty sure this was called Google Lens, and they absolutely failed at this project. Obviously, I want something like this, and I think Meta is... Did they introduce a new glasses? Meta is obviously doing something like that now. Once they actually come out with a proper product, maybe I'll be enticed by it and forced into buying it. I don't think it's worth the money at the moment. All it does is just record with the camera, and you kind of talk to it. It plays music. Yeah, I don't think that's worth the money just yet. Once I can actually have it augmented completely, a desktop screen in my glasses, then yes, now we're talking. That's a whole different game changer than include Comet browser in my glasses and I'm just doing all kinds of crazy things with it. That would be life altering. At the moment, the AI assistant from Comet has already been life-altering for me. For example, I talked to the AI assistant all day, telling it to analyze charts and think about permutations and setups, and sometimes it saves me from overholding a trade, and it actually sometimes even gives me really good trade ideas to make some money too. So just ideas over here of how you can take advantage of AI on your side. Okay, so my trades on the day were done. Quickly talk about some of the hot movers on the day and see if there's any levels over there for us interesting tomorrow. NVO, talked about that big move down. QS, big move down. QS, why? Pressure selling following recent negative analyst comments, so that got blown out. Spotify down 11% after missing EPS. UNH also earnings. LOY going down based on NVO seems like a BS trade for me, and probably worth keeping an eye out for some sort of a mean reversion back up, because that's just like a sympathy move down. The stock is not really changing its fundamentals that based off of another company's earnings report, but something that could be showing you a trend that maybe the weight loss drugs are not actually selling as much and so on. So LOY going to the downside. Based off of that, maybe worth keeping an eye out for a mean reversion, but their earnings days in like 9 days, so keep an eye out for that. UPS down 10% after they reported earnings. CYBR talked about that. RCL also reported earnings today. Oh damn, I didn't know about that. RCL has been a stock that's been on an absolute heater, and if that stock was weak on the day, you had to look for a short or a long, I guess. You had a nice fashionably late scalp over here to the long side. Let me just zoom in on the 1 minute chart. How could you have caught that? Somewhere here on the dip back into 1 minute 9 EMA slash VWAP and the rebid back above the VWAP right here in the action around 326. You could have caught the long, risk this low here, or even the low a day, so you're risking about $4 or $5, and you end up getting much more than a $4 or $5 move on this stock. So 320, 326, and you're getting a move almost up to 336, and then if you actually manage to hold all the way up to 340, a much bigger trade anyway. So what happened with RCL? Did they actually report bad sales guidance below estimates despite raising full year 2025 guidance? So kind of a mixed report. Makes sense why they bounced back the way they did. Not sure if we're gonna get a nice day 2 short on this, because looks like the report's mixed overall. Might need to dive a little bit more into the report to actually see the bigger picture idea. But just purely off the chart, you know, this shows you that there's a lot of buyers in this area on this name. And short sellers, you would think that they would actually hold on to their shorts and not cover so quickly, given how extended the stock has been in the on the daily chart, right? So all things considered, I think you don't really want to be fighting the short too heavy. If the stock is managing to hold below today's VWAP on the 5-minute chart, somewhere around 331, if we're holding below 331, I think you could look for extended downside back into today's low. But I honestly don't think that's even a trade that we're gonna get out of it based on how it traded. Thankfully, I'm not an analyst, nor am I a market predictor. All I have to do is wait for the stock to set up the way I want it to, and if it's doing what I want it to, then there's a trade there. If it's not doing what I want it to, then really I don't give a shit about what the stock does. Going on from there to the watch list, BMNR down 8%. The stock offered offering Monday. It broke that big setup that I've been dying to trade on this name, so that's pretty sad. That was the breakdown here on Monday. Obviously traveling, so missed out on that one. Today, I guess continuation, not really, just sideways traded. No reason to have that one on the watch list, and I didn't add it. Okay, now we can go back to actually going through all of the watch list from top down. Visa at the top of the watch list, reporting earnings today after hours and failing right off the bat. So dropping down maybe all the way back to 200 EMA. Really? Are we dropping all the way back down there? Oh, we didn't. Okay, good. So a little bit above the 200-day moving average, and seems like we actually bounced fairly well. Double bottom on the 5-minute over here, right off of the 339 area, and now trying to hold above the earnings anchored VWAP. Worth to quickly go check out what the stock's earnings report is on Perplexity Finance. And let me just quickly go Visa, show me the report. What are you looking like? Earnings, there you go. So overall, beat EPS, beat revenue, strong Q3 full year 2025 results with net revenue of 14%, growth 23%, so they're growing. Forward guidance is maintained, so not growing nor to be stronger than previous anticipated, so that's looking good. Stable coins are now seen as a growth opportunity, especially in emerging markets, so they're talking about stable coins also. I guess they were talking about stable coins earlier also. Here's the transcript, here's the documents. This is actually pretty interesting because now you can click on this right here and open up their pages to dive deeper exactly on their earnings report. Read the documents if you care to. Turn on the AI assistant, ask it to summarize key points, and boom, you're gonna get a nice little review of all the key points from the earnings report. Shout out to Perplexity AI. First, use Perplexity Finance to open the what stock is this again? Open the stock's earnings report, and then quickly have the AI to analyze the earnings report for you. Forward outlooks, if you need detailed tabs. What the heck? I closed the tab by mistake. what is the sentiment of the stock on social media after its earnings report. Quickly going to analyze social media, Reddit, TikTok, Twitter. Not really TikTok, but you get the idea. After its earnings reports, boom, you're gonna quickly get this nice little summary report. People talking about buying, people talking about possibly trimming their position, just tools that can expedite your research process instead of you having to go through it all the primitive ways, which is manually searching it for yourself. So just awesome tools overall, man. Awesome tools from Perplexity Finance. What was it? Sponsor me, Perplexity. I would love for you guys to sponsor me. Okay, Visa. The overall idea at the moment off the earnings report, you look, the stock is growing year to year. They make money hand over fist. You know, how much is their PE at the moment? That's probably something to keep an eye out for. PE is 35, so not really on the expensive side. You know, it's all right if you ask me, and it's pulling back to the 200-day moving average. The last time the stock pulled back into the 200-day moving average was here, and in this COVID era over here. I guess that's not really COVID era. This is more the COVID era 2020, and you can see how more often than not it just bounces off that area. Sometime it did spend right above or around the 200-day moving average, but eventually it bounces off of it. This is Visa. How much of the world's payments go through Visa? You know, it's kind of nuts if you ask me. So I'm not sure if looking short on the stock is actually the smartest thing to do, unless it gets below you know, 330 in the coming days and continues to look weak. So that's my main point about this. Clear resistance possibly around 344.50, 345. So put that one in on the notes, 344.50/345 as a possible resistance area. And then we have a support zone right by the 200-day moving average, which is 335. And then I'm just gonna put 333 as a 200 DMA in my notes, just so I don't forget it, because I tend to do things like that. Okay. So look at that, nice little resistance right at that 344.50, 345 as I'm talking about. Actually 346, but you get the point. Visa on watch tomorrow. Mara went up today on the earnings report. Surprise, surprise. I thought they cut down on their earnings forecast or something along those lines, but yeah, looks like a good report here. Bouncing back to the upside, reclaiming today's high and basically staying above today's high in the after hours. So if the stock report's good, you might just see a little bit of a more move back to the upside coming in over the next few days. For me, the key level is that right there, 1768, 1770. If the stock is not finding buying above that couple days highs range that we've made, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, we haven't been able to close above that. If the stock is able to find buyers above that, then I think it's a no-brainer long from there on out. So 1770, $18. See if buyers can defend this name tomorrow. If so, pretty easy long for us to join to the trend. Starbucks. Last time I checked Starbucks was because of TH. He wanted me to look at it because coffee bean prices were going up, and that should in return make Starbucks more money. I like the logic. The logic makes sense. Let's see if it played out. Starbucks reports earnings, flushes into previous earnings VWAP area around 87.50, and insanely rips right back up to the north side, reaching to the highs of $98. And that's a drastic move. This is probably something very, very worthy to keep an eye on tomorrow. Ideally expecting the stock to stay above 95.50 all day tomorrow in pre-market. Give us an opportunity to get long. My mouse is failing me. Give us an opportunity to buy the 95.50 area and then look for a breakout above 97.98 for that move into $100. So watching the stock tomorrow without a doubt. We'll see how pre-market sets up, but right now the main support level for me would be 95.50. I don't really want to see it below the earnings VWAP, and you can see how 97 is pretty much, 98 is pretty much the previous resistance area. Ooh, wrong box. Previous resistance area that makes it a key level too. So if we're holding above 98 in pre-market, that's already going to make things very interesting on this name. If we're holding above 98, look for that move already to the $100 area, and then maybe even above it. Ideally would like a dip buy into 95 though. 95 to 98, and then 98 breakout into 100. Boom. So those are the levels that I'm watching on Starbucks. Seagate is a memory drive company. Seagate, oh, 150. What? What? When did Seagate become a $150 stock? What am I looking at? What did I miss? Oh man, what a move. Insane move all the way back to, you know, all-time highs, is it? What? Oh man, when the bull market moves, it really moves, eh? This is kind of insane. I didn't even expect Seagate to be here. Obviously, you can see how shocked I am. Okay, Seagate making a nice move to the north side, breaking that little trend line. Not that it matters. Horizontal prices matter more than trend lines. But breaking that little trend line and what seems to be on a positive earnings report. So if we stay below that trend line and push into 140, possibly some sort of a short trade there. We'll need to do more research on Seagate's earnings report. So let me quickly pull up our good friend Benzinga. Or actually, give me a second. Let's actually go back here into the browser agent. Create a shortcut. Scan for stocks ER report and show me their growth year over year, quarter over quarter. Guidance / forecast. Okay, ER stream save. Okay, now we do, what was the stock I was just talking about, chat? STX / ER stream. Boom. Boom. No more primitive scanning, chat. Let the software do its work for us. Yo, I asked for Seagate Technologies. I got Starbucks. Why didn't I get Seagate? Thank you. There we go. There we go. Up 30% year over year. Up 146% from same period last year on the EPS. Gross margin 37%. Record up from 30.9% same period last year. Full year 2025 revenue also up. Growth quarter over quarter. Where's the guidance? Revenue... guidance midpoint is flat to down, so that might be a little bit of a reason why the stock went down. But look at everything else. You're seeing growth across the board. 30% growth on margins. You're seeing 146% EPS growth from same period last year. 30% growth on the revenue. So they're not, you know, falling down. Stellar full year 2025 results, but stock fell 7 to 8% after earnings due to conservative Q1 outlook and lack of further full year 2026 visibility. Analysts expect strong long-term upside tied to cloud AI. Oh, that actually makes sense. Cloud AI demand, memory space. Yo, why didn't I think about Seagate as an AI play? What's wrong with me? Oh man, what a miss. Generational fumble on Seagate Technologies from someone who prides himself as a technology guy, and someone who's been loving watching these stocks go up, you know, which is Western Digital, Seagate Technologies. I mean, I've been following the stock for so long and it's been doing nothing but go sideways, and here they are going up, and that's when I stopped following them. This is so sad. Look at Western Digital, just the straight rocket ship to the upside, and they report earnings in a day themselves. Okay. So anyway, Seagate Technologies. I think the report's positive. Not think it is positive. The fact that, you know, the guidance is slightly lower to the negative side, I don't think that's by any means negative for me. PE is still positive over here. Once again, I'm not an analyst, I'm a day trader. So if the selling comes in, I have to, you know, eat my words and just look to sell this stock. But if buyers are able to defend this name, I think this one possibly goes right back up. But with how much they're growing on EPS year over year and with revenue, I don't think the stock is a short by any means. So watching the stock for dip buys tomorrow, and that's going to be a pretty decent priority. Western Digital, possibly some sort of a sympathy trade on that one too. Watch for long ER wasn't as bad as stock as the move. Maybe SSR long on watch. Okay, Booking Holdings is a high price stock if I remember last time. Yeah, so we're not even talking about this because there's no way I'm day trading that. And it's a $5,000 stock. There's no way I'm swing trading that. So we're deleting that bad boy right away. Cake. Cake is a Cheesecake Factory and low volume stock. 2 million shares, 3 million shares for a $60 name. Not really too exciting. But they reported earnings. They popped up a little bit off that report. The stock kind of was on a descent to the downside. So maybe off that report it can start going back up. Not sure it's a high priority name for us tomorrow at all. Here are names that actually report tomorrow. Pre-market, VRT, very close to its all-time high. If I remember correctly, this is in the AI basket too, with the technology, electronic production equipment, and so on. So worth watching without a doubt. VRT, MO. This is Altria, yes, Altria Group. Nice hold just before the 52-week high here, not the all-time high. Nice hold just around the 52-week high, and you can see how the 200-day moving average is also very close to the stock. All other moving averages are just sideways at this point, but the 200-day moving average has been nice little slope to the upside. A comparison to the stock maybe will be Philip Morris. That stock got recently slammed to the downside on their earnings report. So Philip Morris, maybe the money is going to Altria instead. So Altria worth watching without a doubt, especially if the stock is able to get above the 61.20 zone. So that's a level to keep an eye out. I'm not going to say 61.30 to 61 area to keep an eye out. If we do get above it, worth watching without a doubt. 61.25. All right, fine. I'll just do 61.25 to 61.30. Fine. We'll be a little bit more exact. K8C, Kraft Heinz. If there's a trade, I'll think about trading it, but I don't think I'm gonna really care about Kraft Heinz tomorrow. There's some other trades already I really like on the board for tomorrow. Humana, yes, I've traded this stock previously, so this one is going to be on the watch list. Currently under the 200-day moving average, 52-week lows just around the $200 area. Will be interesting to see how this one sets up. Has been on a clear downtrend so far. Just rejecting 200-day on every single 200-day moving average on every single bounce. You can see on almost every single earnings report we get closer to the 200-day and we reject. The only thing that would make me want to go long is a change in characteristics. What is that change in characteristic? We pop above the 200-day moving average and we stay above it on every single dip. So that would be the change in characteristics. Until that happens, I think I'm only interested in the short as a day trade and for the swing trade. So watch out HUM for that one. ETSY, I'm gonna actually put that in my notes so I don't do something stupid tomorrow. Only care about long if stock can hold above 200 DMA and changing characteristics on the daily chart. Okay, Humana. Etsy also reporting tomorrow pre-market. Actually not a bad chart. Let's see if Etsy can start popping back above 66 on its earnings report. Testing the 9-day moving average. I guess you could say it failed it because it's closing below the 9-day moving average. You have some sort of a double top in this area. So Etsy will be interesting tomorrow. Let's see how they report. A bunch of other stocks tomorrow reporting too. Hershey's is a good company to possibly keep an eye on. I remember reading about Hershey somewhere recently. I can't remember where I read about it. Maybe in Perplexity AI reports. But anyways, Hershey's watching how this one could possibly start making some sort of a move above this little 4 or 5 day coil around 180 to 190 area. but low volume again. I don't know if for the day trade you really want to be watching those names. I mean, there's so many better trades over here to watch for the day trade. So Hershey's probably just kind of sliding it to the side. Steven Place in the house. Good to see you, Steven, in the chat. He's saying Etsy swing anchor VWAP from 2023. Ooh, 2023. Are we doing from January? What are we doing over there? January? Oh, from the highs? Oh no, that's not 23. This is the 23. Let's see. Let's see what my good friend Steven is talking about. That anchor VWAP is basically the resistance on the chart. I like it. Thank you, Steven, for pointing that out. Let me mark that a different color. Look at that. That anchor VWAP from 2023 has been basically grinding the stock down for quite some time now. Where is 2023? Right there. Ever since that selling event. I wonder what that news was. You know, I don't have that news from his. What's HIS? This is why you follow Steven on Twitter. So whatever that is, you know, from there on out, they've just been struggling non-stop, and you guys know how good anchor VWAPs are. I have anchor VWAPs automatically for all earnings reports. I usually try to have anchor VWAPs from all-time highs, all-time lows, 52-week highs, 52-week lows, and so on. But previous years, I usually try to delete them because I end up with too many lines on that charts from highs. Sorry. Okay, yeah, no worries. From the highs. Yes, I see that. From the highs indeed, and has been walking the stock to the downside. So again, same idea as HUM. The change in characteristics would be finally getting above that anchored VWAP and finding buyers above it. Just off of the daily chart, I think 66 would be worthy enough of a shot if there are buyers coming in above 66, but keep in mind above that $69 area, and then maybe we do get a move above 69 to keep an eye on. 2023 AVWAP, not EVWAP, that's earnings VWAP, 69, and then also I'll actually put 66 to keep an eye on. Possibly 66 itself is a resistance tomorrow on Etsy. Like I said, Hershey's, I'm going to ignore Hershey's tomorrow. Most likely ignoring Hershey's tomorrow. Here's a name most likely I'm ignoring again, is Hog, Harley Davidson. Unless there's actually a good breakdown here that pushes us back to 20, maybe a bounce off of 20 for a long, or a break below 20 for an even bigger extension on this name. But if we start getting above 25, 26, maybe a long over there. Nice box over here actually to keep an eye on Hog. Maybe don't ignore Hog tomorrow, and we'll see how it plays out. Again, in the same basket as HUM, you know, I would love for the stock to get above the 200-day moving average, show some support above it, and then the longs just much easier to participate in. But if we start seeing buying above, you know, somewhat above 26 tomorrow in the intraday, could be worth watching for a quick little long scalp over there too. Teva reports tomorrow pre-market, I believe. So again, another coil, not coil, but nice little sideways channel box being formed. We now broke the support and are trading a little bit around that support area on a positive report, possibly reclaim the range and go back to the range high, at which point we can look for resistance around the range high or support above the range high. So Teva, worth watching too. SoFi, boy oh boy, day 2 tomorrow is going to be fireworks, I feel, because we have you know, fresh catalyst after hours that the stock is now doing a stock offering. Today's midpoint around $23.71. Today's anchor VWAP $23.50. So basically around that zone. I'll be watching if we get a pop to short into, but I don't think we get a pop that high for us to participate with. Currently the stock is actually trading right at yesterday's VWAP, which is interesting. We'll see if tomorrow the stock basically trades around this area, bringing down tomorrow's VWAP down over here. Previous level 23 might just act as a resistance also. Now, I'm not trying to predict the future, obviously, but that might just act as a resistance. So I'll put 23 as my inflection level. And if we are not able to find buyers above 23, I think there could just be a good short setting up on SoFi, just over the fact that the stock has had a pretty decent run up, broke out, failed breakout, and with the stock offering news. Maybe a move down to 20 on the failure to hold around 23. This buying action over here kind of, really turns me off on that trade idea and the thesis. Here's something that we could do, actually. Hold up. Let's head over to Comet. Put over Comet. Go to SoFi on the daily chart. This is my basic chart. And then we do /scan chart. Hold up. /scan chart SoFi. Use its earnings report today and the after hour stock offering news to calculate all possible permutations tomorrow. Make sure to check the tab to see all the info from the daily chart also. All right, let's see what permutation analysis can Perplexity AI Comet browser come up with for us for all the data that it has. Not only is it having data from the chart, it also has data directly from earnings reports, the offering, and so on. So quickly taking a read over here. Bearish scenario probability 40%, sideways 30%, a dip buy. Here's some trade ideas over here. So you got a bullish scenario 30, bearish scenario 40, sideways 30. So a higher probability decision that the stock is going to the downside. Offering opens below 21. They're expecting the stock to actually drop much lower. Opens below 21. Where does the stock in the after hours actually? Around $20. So I might not even get a chance to trade around 23 tomorrow. We'll have to see if we get a pop to 23. Opens below 21. Retest 2050 range low. To 21, strong technical support, possibly sees panic wicks to 20 or below. If panic accelerates and 20 doesn't hold, bear trend can intensify. That's exactly what we're looking for. So that $20 area is your key level right there. Key triggers: market-wide weakness, aggressive institutional selling, offers priced below $21. Above $21. So look for that puke on this name. If 20 doesn't hold tomorrow, that's your key support area. And I hope 23, we do get a bounce to see around 23 if buyers are able to hold above it, or if buyers are weak around it, for us to join the day 2 short. Okay, QuantumScape got destroyed today. Big move to the downside. This is kind of really done with the mean reversion trade. If you didn't catch it already, I mean, you're too late for this now. If you're reading this, it's too late. So watch, I guess, to see if pops into today's VWAP. The $10 area will act as a resistance. That's your psychological level. If anyone who bought in the recent run-up, if they see the stock back above the 21-day moving average, back above $10, do you really think they're gonna be as panicky to close their position? Probably not. So I don't think we're gonna see another big sell-off tomorrow until we go test the $10 area, and the $10 area actually shows you resistance to play off of, at which point then we do get a move back to 9, and a bigger move down below 9 is possible. So I want it around 10 tomorrow. Spotify, nice little drop on the earnings report. And yeah, basically got shit on absolutely. This has been one of my most favorite music streaming platform, but I haven't used them in a very long time. So makes sense why I guess they're going down. Big drops on the earnings over here. Are they actually red earnings, or is TradingView getting it wrong for us? Anyways, nice move on the stock over here, getting below its 200-day moving average. Actually, let's confirm that. I don't have 200-day on that chart because that's just a basic chart. Here's the 200-day. Nope, not that. Here's the 200-day on Spotify. Just a a lot below where the stock currently is. The stock is around 620 and it's at 560. So maybe some sort of a day 2 tomorrow, watching today's VWAP, watching today's midpoint area right around 640, 635 area to see if Spotify can act up as a day 2 short. SPOT. Boeing, that range is very important. I screwed up my Boeing trade today, man. I screwed up so many trades today that I could have made so much money on. It's so sad, so sad. 225.55 on Boeing, 226 to 225.55. Oh, it's actually 225 is today's low. So just say 225.50 to 225 is your zone on Boeing. If we're able to hold below that support area, then it's all systems go on the short side for Boeing. Also, a couple other stocks. We're already past 9 over here, so I'm just gonna. Oh my God! Why do we have so many plays? UPS, another day, another downside. Just can't catch breaks off of earnings reports for this stock, huh? It's now below its weekly 200 moving average also, so that's pretty drastic. This stock is just getting absolutely deleted, boys. So yeah, watch $90 area. If the stock doesn't hold 90, it's absolute game over on UPS at this point. Does it even make sense to look for a long if the stock is holding 90? Absolutely not. So watching the stock possibly go to 90. If 90 can't hold, I'm ready to go. All systems fired. PYPL, how did you do today on your earnings report? You actually didn't really do anything too exciting for me, so not really interested. I guess you did flush. You did gap down and you are down 8%, but you didn't do anything interesting intraday, so I'm not really as keen on for the day 2 trade over there. UNH, again, can't catch a break, pushing back to the downside. Now I'm not even sure what to say anymore. I keep saying the same thing, which is, you know, their fundamentals are not changing, but apparently they are. Their reports are now coming negative. They're cutting their guidances and all things are going south for them. So UNH just can't catch a break at the moment. NVO, absolutely destroyed. Possibly day 2 on Pops tomorrow, so watching NVO without a doubt for a day 2 trade. And then Eli Lilly, you could possibly look for a mean reversion on that trade because it only pushed down for sympathy. It didn't really have a news to push down on. CYBR, this is your buyout rumor. I'm gonna keep an eye on the stock to see if it has any moves tomorrow. Quickly go to the large cap stocks, Nvidia, and so on. A little pullback across the board on most of these stocks, but still looking very healthy. I mean, if you saw how strong Google was today, Microsoft basically closed flat on the day. Meta didn't really do too bad either. We're still above the 50-day moving average over here. The market looked a little scary for the most part, but if you zoom out a little bit, we're still above the 9-day moving average. So, I mean, how long has the market closed above the 9-day? Like 25 bars, 35, 36 days in a row. So basically 25 days in a row we've closed above the 9-day moving average. That's a very bullish market at the moment. So a pullback, a mean reversion is obviously expected on the market. Hopefully we get a nice little pullback into the 50-day moving average, right into the previous previous all-time high, and you get a second chance scalp setup on the overall market to play with. Shout out to your boys over at SMB Capital. So that's a quick little look at the market and the large cap stocks. Where is Coinbase and MSTR? I haven't really been watching these names. Coinbase getting destroyed, and you know I love to see that. I hope Victor's in the chat at the moment. You know what? That's right, Victor hasn't been in the chat ever since Coinbase has been going back to the south side. I wonder why. He was in the chat when the stock was going up and just absolutely raving about it every day. But now that the stock is getting destroyed, he's not in the chat anymore. I wonder what's going on over there, huh, Victor? Now, all games aside, you know, you actually have money in the stock, so I don't want you to lose money. I want you to make money. You made enough money on it. Hopefully, you're using this downside on Coinbase to make profits, cover your profits, and so on. Don't become a bag holder just because you have a big thesis idea. It's great to have a big thesis idea, but if the chart is not supporting your thesis, it's just not worth it anymore, right? It's just not worth it. MicroStrategy, looking at the cryptocurrency basket, I was long MSTR in this area. I made my money and I bailed after it failed to hold the 9-day moving average. Now pushing back to the 50-day and then failing to hold around the 50-day. So potentially seeing a retracement back to the 200-day moving average. You're actually seeing a diversion on MSTR compared to Bitcoin. When Bitcoin had a little bit of breakout here recently, MSTR was actually pushing to the downside. So the change, this is not even Bitcoin, sorry, this is IBIT. When Bitcoin had a little bit of a breakout in this area, MicroStrategy was pulling back. So it's actually diverting a little bit, not doing what you want to see if you are a MicroStrategy holder. And obviously MSTR Sailor just loves diluting his holders and opening up STRC, STRB, STRA. I just have no words for Sailor anymore, but you know, shout out to you if you like MicroStrategy. That's all I can say. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Shout out to you if you like it. I personally don't like it, and I can see you know, my thesis playing out, which is it's going to the downside. It's going right back to the south side, even though Bitcoin isn't. So be very careful. 400 might be still the psychological key level that you want to play around, even though the stock has clearly gone above it and below it. So 400 is not like a 100% true psychological level anymore, but it's still a level that you want to be careful to see how the traders set up around. You know, possible resistance, possible failure to hold 400 as a key to short, holding a 400 as a key to go long. So something like that. Besides that, I don't really have any other trades to mention, so quickly we'll go to the IPO calendar. I think IPO calendar tomorrow is the day where we get, I don't think tomorrow is the day we get Figma, right? Is Figma 31st or on the, it is on the 31st. So tomorrow we do have, we have an IPO, that doesn't matter. We have an IPO over here, Ambic Micro, $97 million. That's not really that small or that big either, but the AMBQ, we'll find out really quick what AMBQ does. Go over here, boom, on the current tab, go to AMBQ stock and find all details about it for the IPO tomorrow. Boom. And then in the meantime, we can push back to where we were. We were here. AMBQ is currently doing its own thing. Not really too interested. This one tomorrow on the 31st. Sorry, not tomorrow. This one's on the 31st along with Figma, and those are the two important things. And you can see how the agent's doing its own thing, and the browser over here is basically you know, checking more websites, checking more stats for me, and doing all the homework for me. I don't have to do shit anymore, boys. I love this. I love it. In the meantime, let's head over to the econ calendar. As I mentioned already, tomorrow is the FOMC event, which is at 2 o'clock. You get the FOMC interest rate decision. Either we cut, hold, or hike. And then 2:30 you have the press conference. So both the time zones will be important tomorrow. Besides that, you have the GDP numbers at 8:30. Also equally important, because those are the numbers that the FOMC committee usually takes a look, not usually, if those are the numbers the FOMC committee takes a look at to make decisions for the interest rates and so on. Quickly taking a look at it, revenue 76 million, 2024 76.1, 2023 65 million. So they're growing. Net loss, okay. Gross margin, operating margin, cash flow, IPO was upsized due to demand. That's good to see. Companies S1As and subsequent filings highlight risks, rising costs, slowing revenue growth, market competition. This is fucking amazing. Look at this shit. Okay, IPO day, $24 per area, 4 million shares, deal size 96 million. Underwriters, both of these nuts. UBS, Ambic Micro, location Texas. Semiconductor, ultra low power chips for AI. Come on now. Okay, makes sense why their name was Micro. Ambic Micro, right? Business model, leader in ultra low power semiconductor, especially for edge AI, enabling AI computing directly on devices where power usage is crucial. Okay, recent financials, we kind of read this already really quickly. Key contact, blah 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 blah. And looks like a decent company to keep an eye on. Guess who just made the watch list? And this is why you tune in to your boy TraderPrad. That's not what I want to do. Insert below. That's also not what I wanted to do, but it's fine. AMBQ IPO tomorrow. Keep an eye on that one. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all she wrote. Now the only thing I have left to do is tell the agent to turn off my stream. I'm joking. I'll do that myself. Thank you for hanging out with me, chat. I'll see you guys next time, same place. You know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go look at all the links in the description below with my affiliate sponsors. And you get discounts for using the links in the description if you're interested in using the same software that I use. Last but not least, share, like, retweet, all that fun stuff that tickles the algos. Catch you guys next time. Peace.
Tech basket get destroyed. Get ready for trade off of get ready for the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.